Hello, America and curling fans from Canada and Newfoundland. This is your host, Ryan Olson, with you tonight for the second draw of the 2023 MoPac Men's and Women's Club Playdowns. We are coming to you live from the brand spanking new San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club facility just outside of the Oakland International Airport. So glad to have you with us tonight. As I mentioned in the chat, our featured game is on sheet two, and it looks like they're about ready to start. It looks like they're trying to do a quick mop before they get going. Our featured game is on sheet two, taking the Team Rockwell from Hollywood Curling, going up against the reigning champions, Team Burton, the Monsters from Coyotes Curling out of Tempe, Arizona. It should be a good match. It looks like Burton did win the hammer, so they will be going last in the order, having the hammer, of course. While they're finishing up the mop, it looks like they're almost done. To recap the other sheets, on sheet one, men's pool D, the hammer and red rocks go to Team Fleming from Coyotes, going up against Team Lazarowicz from Silicon Valley with the yellow rocks. Sheet three will be a men's pool B game with Team LeClaire from Coyotes taking on Team Pomeroy from Utah Olympic Oval. That's my home club. I will do my best to be as even-keeled as possible whenever I mention that game. Team LeClaire from Coyotes does have the hammer on that. Looking to sheet four, that's a women's pool B game. Red Rocks and Hammer belong to Team Wheeler out of Silicon Valley, and Yellow Rocks will be going to Team Aubrey out of Coyotes. And then our last game on the ice, that is men's pool A on sheet five. That is Team Siggins with the Blue Rocks out of Coyotes, and then the Yellow Rocks belong to Team Hernandez out of Hollywood, and they have the hammer. So we're going to get underway shortly. Our chat is open. Feel free to drop a question or a comment in the chat, and if it's a question, I'll do my best to answer it. If it's a comment, I'll perhaps respond to it. If you want me to come up with a haiku describing the event in succinct poetic form, I'll give it a shot. Why not? That's what we're here for. We're here to have fun, here to showcase some of these great teams coming out of our region, and I'm glad you guys are here for the ride. Game will be underway shortly, and we'll be right back with you. Almost looks like they're doing a double mop, which is probably nice to make sure that the ice is in good shape. This is the second draw. We have one more draw tonight, starting at around 9 p.m. After we take into account the practice and draw shot challenge. That game, our featured game, will be Team Camarena out of the Bay Area taking on Team Feldman from Wine Country. So watch them zoom out of the hatch. We're about ready to get underway. So they're just setting up for a draw, probably a guard. This is Jasmine Hashi with the first shot for Team Rockwell. She started curling in 2014 at Seattle's Granite Curling Club, initially focused on the social aspect of the game. She has been on teams that have won the 2014 Granite Friday Spring League, the 2015 Granite 5 and Under, and the 2019 Granite April Spiel. So it looks like they put that in the house, and that's probably going to be a tempting target for Team Burton to take out. It looks like they are going to do a soft weight takeout. Let's see here. Shots away from the lead for Team Burton. That is Kim Gaddy, born in Sandy, Utah. She's been curling for 7 years. Her likes include crafting good quality ice scrapers, and she dislikes owls. So the hit was successful, and it rolls to the wings. Kind of making things interesting to draw play into the house in this first end. It looks like they're going to try and take that out, I think. Just kind of based on where the room is. The second shot coming from Jasmine. So mission accomplished. They do roll out, so it's a open house. And just to prove it, the house is empty. There's no rocks in it. I think that's going to change as this game progresses. Although it is now a wide open house, I'm going to guess they're going to put up a corner guard, try and generate some offense, just because Team Rockwell was off to such a fairly aggressive start, although this looks to be, a little on the short side, and so it's a hogged rock. If we had a pig to do a drawing for hogged rocks, that would be $1 for the hogged rock hog. This game is a qualifier for the national championships, and so as such, we are playing with many of the national competitive rules. That includes the distinctive orange broom covers that are not as effective as the lead ones are, and that's to help kind of equalize play, or just make sure that we're seeing the athletes compete. Ooh, this is a little light. Is it going to get over the line? They are going after it hard, but it's just a little short. So that's back-to-back hogged rocks, one from each team. That one was from the Rockwell second, and that would be Miss Lillian McNella. She began curling in 2014 after the Olympics and went on to win the B group at the MoPac 5 and Under shortly thereafter. So back to a wide open house here as we see the first stone coming from the second for Team Burton, and that would be Amy Thompson. Ms. Thompson was born in St. Paul, Minnesota. Has been curling for 9 years. Throws right-handed. She likes chocolate, Diet Mountain Dew, and dislikes most things green, which I would assume excludes Diet Mountain Dew, which is greenish in color. So that rock actually went through the back of the houses and sitting just in front of the back line. So it looks like they're going to just draw in or put up a high center guard, or center guard perhaps. This is the second stone coming from Miss McNella. So after starting in 2014, she took a break from the sport and came back in 2021 and has been actively curling for 3 years. A lot of curlers from the Southern California area really kind of came back to the game when the Southern California Curling Center opened, and it's unfortunate that the center was not able to continue operations, but it was, I think, a really good start for curling in the Los Angeles area, and I hope it comes back in some form. All right, this is Miss Thompson's second. She is most likely to retain written information, and her favorite zoo animal is the giraffe. Talking about taking a long view of the world. Looks like they are going to draw around that blue guard that was put up and come to rest just top button. That looks like a really good draw for Miss Thompson. So it looks like Rockwell would like to get rid of the yellow. Thinking about maybe trying to like hit and roll under the center guard, but I think they're going to just settle for getting rid of it. This shot coming from Shiloh Blacksher, who began curling in 2018 at Orange County Curling. They're going hard. Ooh, that was a nice shot. I think it did exactly what they wanted. I would give full points for that. And I always kind of explain at some point during the broadcast that when you see the percentages on a curling broadcast, there are scorekeepers kind of keeping track. They're kind of judging each of the shots and giving a score of 0 to 4 for how well executed it was. Obviously, a 4 is 100%. A 3 is 80. 2. Am I doing the math right? It's around there. 0, 0, 0. 1 is 20. I'm pretty sure. And so I would do that pretty close to full marks. That looks pretty good too. Gets rid of one of the blue rocks, and then the other blue has rolled open, exposed on the left side. That was, again, from Miss Thompson. I believe. Oh, no, I think that's from Tatiana Keeling. All right. So this is the last shot coming from Shiloh Blacksher for Team Rockwell. Looks to be a little heavy this time, and it probably is going to go through the house. And actually, Team Burton is not laying a broom to it. So that does allow Team Burton the chance to get rid of the blue in the house. And someone in the chat has corrected me. I'm a writer by profession, so math is not my forte. And Eric was pointing out that 4 out of 4 is 100, 3 out of 4 is 75, and so on. So that's super helpful. I definitely appreciate it. And that's how scoring works, or that's how percentages work in curling. They never explain it on the broadcast, and so I always try to explain it on mine because it's useful information within reason. I mean, percentages are not the be-all and end-all of how to assess how good a curling player is, but it helps. So that hit from Tatiana Keeling was on the money. She was born in Russia, has been curling for 9 years, throwing right-handed. Now we're down to skip stones, and I think the play is essentially drawn to the house. We'll see what happens here. I'm going to guess that Nicole Rockwell is going to hit the yellow out, probably stick around and kind of make Burton play for it, make a play for it. It does seem like the odds are in favor for Burton to either get a deuce at this point or a blank. I don't think getting one is a highly likely possibility. So that hit does get rid of the yellow. It's a soft weight hit. The blue sticks around. So now I think Burton's going to make a play for it because these are the defending MoPac champs. They've been to nationals several times. I think they've lifted the national trophy at least once. I'll double check that. So I think they're definitely more of a hitting team. Okay, so looking at the team summary, they've been to the Nationals 4 times. They were, they've been bronze medalists 4 times. So, um, it looks like they are going to do the hit. They know what they're doing, so we'll see. We'll probably see a hit here. This is the first rock coming from Jane Burton, born in Regina, Saskatchewan. She's been curling for 40 years, throwing as a lefty. She does like coffee, 19 crimes, and dislikes long walks and bad weather, which is fair. Ooh, this looks like it's going to be out. So that would be a miss on the part of the skip there. So now the force is on. Um, I was thinking of blinker and deuces in the cards, and now it looks like it's going to be a force or a steal, depending on how it goes. It looks like Rockwell is asking the vice asking the vice Blackshear to set up for a draw behind the center guard there. So I have to say it has been we did get hit by that bomb cyclone storm that hit much of Northern California. We got only just a little bit of precipitation today, and it's like a little on the chilly side, but it's not too bad. And this club does have dehumidification facilities, and so I think the ice conditions are appear to be pretty good. So they're sweeping hard. So one thing they needs to get into the house, needs to touch paint to make this force happen, and they do. Ooh. Okay, so it looks like it's short. So now the blank is on, or a force of one. I mean, I think Burton would like to get rid of the blue and roll out, and it looks like they're set up for that. Of course, when you blank, for now, the team that blanks gets to carry the hammer. The team that had the hammer to start when in a blank gets to carry the hammer to the next end, and it looks to be what they're setting up to do. It should be something that they can do fairly easily, also to bank some time because we are running timing clocks as part of this competition. Also, as part of timing, each team gets a 90-second timeout, in part to accommodate any coaches or alternates that are in our field. They're going hard on it. It looks like it's closer this time. Oh my goodness. So it looks like it's kind of falling towards that left edge of the sheet, and so it does appear to be a force of one for Team Rockwell. So we're going to take a minute break, and we'll be back to the action on the feature sheets. In the meantime, let's take a look and see how things are going on the rest of the sheets. Oops. That's sheet one, and here are all the houses. The scoreboards are not correct. We'll fix that in a second. Hopefully. Okay, so these are all the scoreboards, and it looks like most of the teams are throwing their final shot. They're throwing the hammer right now. So no scores as of yet. We will get that to you as soon as we know what's what. So we'll be back in just a moment when we come back to the 2023 Men's and Women's MoPac Club Playdowns. All right, we are back here to the 2023 MoPac Men's and Women's Club Playdowns. We had a comment about what the team on sheet one is wearing. That is team Fleming, and I think we can zoom in on that in just a second. So uh, while the net shot is set up, let me pan over there. So they are wearing, I think, dynasty jerseys with a very plaid suits pattern, and it is quite loud, but it is also, I think, a very enjoyable design choice. It's going to be fun to take their team photo later in this tournament. So we'll catch up on that in a moment, but back to our feature sheets coverage. Second. So here's Jasmine getting signed up, ready for her shots. Ah, so it looked like Burton drew into the well, I think took out the first blue stone, and it looks like they are. Jasmine's trying to do the same thing, but it looks like it's not going to curl up enough. So that's going to go through and out of play. And Burton's now opting to split the house, which makes a lot of sense. Here comes the second shot from Kim Gaddy, who, by the way, is most likely to pack board games and a selfie stick. So here comes the draw shot from Gaddy. I don't know. I don't know if they want to come into the house. Looks like it's going to be Biter. Actually, that's pretty darn close to full 12. So the house is now effectively split, and Rockwell is looking to see what to do now. I think they want to try the hit and roll again. As Lillian gets set up to throw. This one looks like it's over curling. Might get a piece. They're sweeping hard at it. It's going to kiss it. No. Unfortunate. Ah. We have a response in the comments from Benedict saying that Team Fleming is wearing a tartan suit that was made famous by the infamous Don Cherry. You know, if you know, you know who he is. I don't know if we're going to do a coach's corner segment tonight. I guess we have to find a coach and a corner, but we can see if we can make that happen. Here is the first shot coming from Amy Thompson. And looks like she kind of wicked off of the stone on the left and rolled to the center. So now there's 3 stones, and I have to say, not a lot of great options for Rockwell. I think just kind of they're figuring out what to do in this scenario. The center rock is shot rock, so she's making a play on it. I'm curious about the decision to hit, if only because you have 3 rocks in play. You definitely want to get rid of the yellow stones, but I think you want to perhaps create some backing or just make it harder to get rid of the blues. And that blue did accomplish the goal of getting rid of that shot stone, but the shooter rolled away. And so now I'm going to imagine I would think Burton could put the rock back up, but it looks like they're going to want to draw around the left stone, and definitely kind of set up for a 2 or 3 point end here. Kind of going back to the Don Cherry suits, I have to say, among all the Don Cherry suits, these are probably some of the most restrained suits that Don Cherry has ever worn. So Uh, he is definitely known for loud sartorial choices and also being a bit of a loudmouth. uh, Interesting situation. So it looks like Burton froze on top of the stone on the right, or top to the left now. So sitting three, it's going to be really hard to get rid of those stones on the top. The stone coming from Blacksher. This one's going to be probably a little bit light and maybe over curl a little bit. So that, I think what they wanted to do was to draw around those two yellow stones to sit behind cover and potentially be shot or at least be second. And unfortunately, just a bit light. And now Burton's sitting three, and it's going to be really hard to get rid of those top rocks. But still an interesting situation. I think Rockwell has some opportunities to get out of this end. Next stone coming from healing. So that's pretty close to the shot that Rockwell had wanted to do, although I don't think it curled as much as Burton had hoped. So now I think Rockwell would like to, I think perhaps hit and roll away slightly under the cover. So it looks like they're doing a gentle weight hit with Blackshear second. A little bit of an ad, it looks like. So I think she's adjusting from her first shot, which was a little on the light side. Uh, so I did get rid of the shot rock, but it is exposed. I think they needed just a little bit more curl. I think they could have gotten away with just a little bit more, a little less ice or a little less weight. So now Burton's probably going to try the hit and roll. So they're calling out control weight, which seems to also be a bit of an up weight shot. Although this is not curling as much as I would have thought. That one rolls toward the right. So now Burton's sitting four. So we have really big fields in our tournaments. The women's Playdowns features 8 teams, which is I think twice as many as we had last year, which is really awesome. Um, the men's field includes 18 teams, so we are doing pool play to ensure that people have enough games and we have enough ice time to get through the tournament. The top 2 finishers in each pool will advance to the next stage of the playoffs. There's a possibility to have a 3-way tie for seconds or among the seconds, and so we have a potential tiebreaker set, but that's the only tiebreaker we have set for Saturday afternoon. Otherwise, we're straight ahead into playoff play on Saturday evening and concluding Sunday morning with the finals at noon. So this is Rockwell's first, I believe, and this I think this is just going to go through the house and not touch anything. So fortunate miss on the part of Miss Rockwell, and it looks like for Team Burton, they are going to protect their shot rock and put another stone into the top 8 of the house at least based on how they're lining it up. They are thinking about it. I think it's more just how much ice to take to make sure that shot stone is guarded fairly well. I also think that they probably want to make it hard for Rockwell to perhaps draw in and outcount some of those four Burton stones already sitting in the house. So Jane Burton, she's most likely to remember very random details from past games. That's a neat trick. I wish I could do that. Sometimes the games start to blur together, which is one reason I like to record these games so that we can go back and say, oh, I remember that shot. That was a good one. And we might say that for this shot right now. Looks like the weight's definitely there. I don't know if it's curling as much as they had hoped. So I don't know if that was what they wanted because they were kind of looking towards, on this view, towards the bottom of the 4 foot. From our perspective, it'd be the left, if you're facing, you know, if the bottom of the house is at the bottom of the screen. Um, it's still a very tricky situation for Rockwell because Burton is sitting now 5, and they can't. They obviously want to be close to the center of the house, but they also can't be open because then Burton can just hit them out and score 6. And you can give up multiple points early in the game, but giving up 6 is something you probably don't want to do. Um, I wonder if they would maybe want to try and freeze, but they're not set up for a freeze. Or maybe they are. Let's see what happens. Just because the ice might not be curling as much as I think it was in the first game. Sweepers are on it. They took a beat, and now they're back on it hard. Looks like it's coming up a little light. And it will be a 3 guard. And again, an unfortunate miss by Team Rockwell. So now Burton is sitting 5 and looking to make it a 6. We might call it an Anido Montoya because the character from Princess Bride had 6 fingers. So I'm going to call it a Montoya. It looks like they're just going for a draw. So I definitely think this end kind of shows why Team Burton are the champions. They definitely know how to take advantage of a situation, and just drawing in. They need to be full 12 foot and easiest Sunday morning. That is 6. Count them up, and we can count to 6. I'm not going to do my Vic Router impersonation so early in the tournament. So that is the 6th ender for Team Burton. We're going to take a break and be back in a moment. And I say take a break. We're going to check the other games to see how they're doing. So right now it's 6-1 going into the 3rd end, and we're going to go around the rings. Okay, let's see here. Trying to nudge the scoreboard to act up again. So the scoreboard cameras are not, like, we have a really great setup here provided by the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. It's a wonderful facility, and the setup is top notch. The scoreboard cameras are security cameras. All the other cameras are HD cameras, which are awesome. the scoreboard cameras are security cameras, and they're just a little. They don't update as often as I would like. So, we'll get back to that if when we can, because I know people tune in always ask what the score is on these other sheets, and I definitely want to make sure we can get them to you. So we will get to them to you as soon as we can. Just a friendly reminder that live streaming of this and other regional competitions is powered by the clubs and 1,500 members of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. Our mission serves to grow curling and foster competition in Arizona, California, Idaho, Nevada, Oregon, and Utah. Visit mopacca.org today to find a curling club near you or for help getting one started in your community. So we are here at the start of the third end. Team Rockwell has the hammer for the first time. Looks like Burton decided to draw into the house, which is it's a fairly aggressive play. It it definitely demands or it's kind of challenging the other team to make a play on the stone already in the house. And Team Rockwell isn't biting for now. They opted to put up a corner guard, and so now Burton's set up to put up a guard or to come back to the house. So the way it looks like it's going to be a guard or a tap on the shot stone at the top of the house. And it does tap it. So now Burton's sitting two. And Rockwell, again, is not biting. They are opting to put up another corner guard. One thing I can tell you, we can see the scoreboard on sheet A with the Don Cherry bedecked Team Fleming, and they are up by a considerable 8-0 after two ends over Team Lazarowicz. So we'll keep you updated on that game. So this is looking at sheet 2. This is Rockwell's second shot by Jasmine Hashi. And it looks like it is going deep into the house. And I think Burton, with the score being what it is going to opt to take that out. They are lined up for that. For Amy Thompson's first. It's not curling up. So that looks like it's going to go through the house out of play. So it looks like we're going away, and I think that left side is not curling up as much as they thought on both teams, because we've seen both teams miss, I think, on that side. I think Rockwell is trying to dial up a takeout here. So they're talking it over about 140 feet away from each other. So they initially looked at the hit, and now they are opting to, looks like they're trying to draw into the house. This is the net stone coming for Mignella. So I move some rocks around. I looks like Burton wants another shot at that stone on the left side, and now it's over curling the other way. We kind of saw this happen in the first end, where it's just shots on that side of the house are just if it's closer to the center, it doesn't curl up enough. If it's too much towards the wings, it over curls, and it's happened on. I think both teams have been kind of tricked by that side of the sheet. So this is Mignola's second. They're saying let it curl, and yeah, it needed a curl, and unfortunately, it's going to go through the house out of play. I wonder if it's just flat on that side of the ice because it didn't curl up. It didn't curl up that much going out turn. It didn't curl up much going in turn. So just a very curious side of the sheet there. So now this is Team Burton's third bite at the apple. This blue apple on the left side of the sheet here. So they were sweeping. Now they called them off. It looks pretty close. Ooh, yeah. So it looks really close. They're gonna get some roll. They got some really good roll. It looks like it's about 40% covered by the guard. So Rockwell's dialed up a hit for Blacksher. It's curling up pretty good. Got one. Ooh, looks like a double. All right, good shot by Blacksher. That definitely changes the dynamics. I was about to wonder how Rockwell gets more than 1 point out of this end, and now they're set up to at least have an opportunity to do something. Team Burton is still sitting shot rock, but that blue just outside the house looks like it could be run back onto the yellow, and we'll see what happens. Yeah. So Burton got rid of the blue rock. It kind of wicked off of the yellow just a little bit, but not enough to ruin the play. And so now Burton is sitting 2, one biting the 12-foot and one kind of biting the 8-foot. And Rockwell made the call to go after the shot stone in the 8-foot. This it looks like it's not coming back. So now it creates an opportunity for Burton. Burton's going to be in a really good position to steal here. They're sitting 2, and it looks like they want to put one behind the cover, the guard that blue has in the just outside the house. We are playing 8 end games here. This does go to a national championship, but these events are 8 end games. We have a minute break between ends, which is why I'm trying to do scoreboard updates when the scoreboard works. And we are going to take a 5-minute break after the 4th end. I don't know what snacks the teams have brought. I always think it's great when teams bring snacks for the fifth end break, but I don't know what snacks they have tonight. I'm I just have a soda pop, so that's my snack. And it looks like they have a draw dialed up for Burton's first. Looks like it's going to be a guard. Oh, it could be a biter. It is firmly a guard. Ah, someone was super helpful and told me to check out bondspieler.com, which is a product developed by the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. Bondspieler.com. Save on, as they say. So this is Rockwell's first. I think they're trying to draw rounds. Wade's pretty close. And I think the line and getting behind cover was probably the most important part, and it is enough to be sitting shot rock. However, it does kind of show the path for Burton to come down and either sit right on top of the blue rock that Rockwell has, or to chip them out. And I think Burton is content to just kind of draw down to it. So some team highlights for Team Burton. As I mentioned, they were four-time MoPac Club National Playdown champions, starting in 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2022. Each of the four times they went to nationals, they finished third. The team is also a two-time winner of the Donna Perky Classic at Coyotes in 2017, 2019. And also a winner of the Desert Ice Bonspiel in 2018. That is an open competition at Coyotes. And it looks like this draw here, I think it got the job done. This is a potentially a dangerous shot for Rockwell, because Rockwell has a chance to get two here, but they need to hit this yellow in the right space. They need to probably hit it just right of center on this view, because if it undercurls, the yellow will probably jam on the blue, and then Rockwell's giving up at least one. So we'll see if Nicole Rockwell has the right side of the inch here with her final shot here in end number 3. Supers are on it. I needs to curl just a bit more, but also the weight is, I think, an issue here. So looking at the overhead, I think they were not going to be able to ship it out, but they were able to get it into the 4-foot. Good for one. So it is now a 6-2 game as we head into the fourth end here. While they get set up, let's see how the other games are going. Scoreboard's working this time. All right, so we're going to do a quick rundown. Again, thank you to Claire for reminding me that Bondspieler is out there. It's a great product to check out live scores during games from participating events. But looking at our view here, Sheet 1, the game between Team Fleming of Coyotes and Team Lazarevich of Silicon Valley. It is all Lazarevich right now. It's an 8-0 game. Sheet 2 is our feature game. That scoreboard is not up to date. I'm going to go back to Bondspieler. So on sheet 3, that's a men's B pool. game. Team Leclerc out of Coyotes is up 4-0 after 2. On sheet 4, oh yeah, Leclerc's up over Palmer, right? Pardon me. On sheet 4, it's a women's B pool game. Wheeler opened up the scoring with a deuce, but Aubrey out of Team Coyotes fired back with a 5, and so there's now 5-2 Aubrey after 2. On sheet 5, the men's A pool game, Siddons opened up the scoring with a 4. Siddons out of Team Coyotes. Hernandez responded with a single point, and Siddons, got another one in the third. So after 3 on sheet 5, it's Team Siddons 5, Team Hernandez out of Hollywood 1. So again, all those scores are being posted to bonspieler.com. Not your father's live scoring website solution. bonspieler.com. So getting back to our feature game here, let's see what's going on with the action. Looks like the first shot was just a smidge light. Looks like Burton's driving into the house. So it looks like we're trying to draw a tight center guard. And it's not quite a true center guard. I think I may have mentioned at the start of the broadcast that they are playing the no-tick rule as part of the event. The no-tick rule has been tried at several events, and now it's part of the rules for the season. The no-tick rule essentially means that a center guard can't be moved by the opposing team for the first 5 shots at the end. If the center guard is moved by the opposing team, the team that put the guard there in the first place can remove the offending stone and put the guard back in place, or just kind of let it play out. That's kind of one of the fun things about the sport is sometimes like teams decide not to take the full benefit of a foul. So Burton's sitting 2. It looks like Rockwell wants to make a hit and roll, perhaps. It's hanging out there, though. They're trying to get it to curl, and I don't think it's going to curl enough, and it will sail by. So this is the 6th rock to the end, and so it looks like Burton wants to get rid of the blue guard at this point. And it does hit the blue, but the blue jams on the outside yellow, so blue sticking around, perhaps creating some opportunity for Rockwell. So Rockwell would like to get rid of that Burton stone. Initially taking less ice, and now they're choosing to go on the other side of the stone. So it looks like it's curling pretty well out of hand. over curling. And actually, it might hit theirs in the back. It does, and their rock rolls out of play. So an unfortunate miss. It was a miss that I didn't necessarily foresee. I thought that it was possible that they could have jammed, but I didn't see the stone over curling. But sometimes that's the ice. So next rock coming from Amy Thompson. Tend to draw to the left side of the house. Looks like a little deep. Actually, this might go out of play. Rockwell's on it, and yes, it is gone. So, kind of two misses back to back by both teams. And so I think Rockwell wants to get rid of that stone. The second rock from the second, that's Lillian. This one's over curling again. Might get some contact. Just a kiss. Does change the dynamic, and it looks like Burton's going to try and split the rings here. So I'm going to time this draw to see how the ice speed is for this draw. About a 14.7. That's pretty close to T-line weight. Looks like that was a good draw. So now Rockwell wants to make a play on the shot rock. This looks like it might be a little light, unfortunately. It got over, but it's a mid guard. That's in the 2 zone. If you guys are doing the Furby number system for zones. Eric in the chat has pointed out that based on the scores, Coyotes teams are collectively up 33-6 over their opponents. Coyotes has put together a really good program over the years, and I think it's showing on the ice tonight. It's a long event, though. We'll see how it goes. And it's like I said earlier in the broadcast, it's great to have so many teams enter it and so many teams to kind of test their mettle. That's kind of people talk about the spirit of curling. That is definitely part of the spirit of curling is to compete and see how well you do. So it's been a bit of a challenge for Rockwell tonight. It's been a challenge for the teams that have been playing Coyotes teams, but interesting to see how people persevere through these ends and through these games. Burton is sitting 3 right now, and this is shaping up to be kind of another cricket number for Team Burton. Like I said, these are up to 8 end games. People can concede early. I attended one of the skip briefings, and they did not explicitly say if there was a rule to how many ends one must play. I think people will use common sense. It's a pretty long tournament, so sometimes discretion is the better part of valor. and teams might choose to resign early. This is a good draw shot. It's a pretty nice draw from Rockwell. Pardon me, Rockwell. It is exposed though. It's there's no cover, and looks like there's a couple different ways that Team Burton can get at that stone to chip it out and not jam. Um, the way it's set up, they want to, I think, hit the stone uh, to the right of the center from this view, and kind of shoot it between those two yellows toward the back of the house. So this is Jane Burton's first with the hammer here in the fourth end. Sounded like they called out board weight. It looks like it's curling. They're on it, trying to hold it, and it looks like it might actually jam on the guard. It does kiss the guard, ticks out of the way, and the yellow rolls to the wings. So the end was shaping up to be all Burton again, and now Rockwell has a chance to, likely, I would say, possibly get a force of one. Just kind of looking at how they're set up, I think they probably want to try and freeze on top of that blue. Don't want to tap it back hardly at all. I think light. I'd say light might be the miss. This is, I think, a tricky shot. It's sneakily tricky. So you don't want to set up a double for Burton to go after. This looks to be a little on the light side, so they're opting for a guard, which I think that's fairly smart. So they're creating a high guard. The downside is that guard is probably high enough up that Burton can do like a heavy draw and tap that blue to at least the back eighth, and then Burton gets 3. Although they're looking on the other side of the ice. I would think that they could draw, like do a heavy tap draw, but they're going at it on the other side. So this is Jane Burton's last. They are, I think, lining up for a hit. I think this is almost going to be like a peel shot. Maybe a light peel, perhaps, just based on where she has the broom. I think they want to have some curl, so maybe like a control weight delivery, and just kind of hits that shot rock on the left side and just kind of escort it from the premises. So they said control weight. Supers are on it. This is going to be tricky to judge. It's around the guard. Now they're trying to coax it over. Kisses it just a little bit and not enough. And so Rockwell gets 1. It's a dot of blue amidst a sea of yellow, as Rockwell gets 1 to come to close within 3 as we head into the fourth end break. And we're going to take a break too. Well, it's a 5-minute break. We'll probably be gone for just a couple minutes, and then we'll come back and update you guys on the scores and kind of reintroduce this game. But for now, this has been your host, Ryan. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back to the 2023 MoPac Men's and Women's Club Playdowns, coming to you from the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. If you or your business would like to become a sponsor for MoPac, our competitions, or our live streaming service, visit mopacca.org and click on the contact link on the right-hand side of the page. Hello out there. We're back to the 2023 men's and women's club playdowns, coming to you from the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. This is a beautiful new facility. It's nice to see dedicated ice in the Bay Area. It's a bit of a slightly unusual space because the warm room is along the side of the sheets and not behind the houses, but they made it work. It's a fun facility and a great place to be. The sun came out today, so it sounded like they got a lot of rain yesterday. We had a little bit of sprinkles in the morning, but the sun came out, and just a beautiful day for curling here in Oakland. So before we get started with the feature game on sheet 2 between Team Rockwell from Hollywood and Team Burton from Coyotes, Team Burton is up 6-3 at the fourth end break. Just to update the scores, looking at sheet 1, the game between Team Fleming of Coyotes and Team Lazarowicz of Silicon Valley. It appears to be all Fleming to this point, at 9-0 after 3 ends. On sheet 3, Team LeClaire from Coyotes is taking on Team Pomeroy from Utah Olympic Oval. And that also appears to be all Coyotes, as LeClaire appears to be up 9-0 at the half. On sheet 4, we have a women's game between Team Wheeler. I want to make sure to get the teams right. Team Wheeler from Silicon Valley taking on Team Aubrey from Coyotes. And this appears to be another Coyotes game. Aubrey is up 6-3 at the break. And then on sheet 5, looks like we're in the second half on that game. We have Team Siggins from Coyotes taking on Team Hernandez, a men's game from Hollywood. Again, Coyotes 5-2 after 4. So that brings you up to date on the scores. And looks like on sheet 2, we're going to return to that in a second. Burton has opted to throw through the house. 1 second. Kind of bouncing the cameras back and forth. So it looks like Rockwell wants to come into the house. Burton does have the hammer again in this 6-3 game with Burton in the lead. Well, listen, they put up a guard, not quite a center guard. I think Burton wants Kim Jaddy to draw around. Weight's pretty close. Looks pretty good, actually. Really good. It's around that center guard. Looks to be about 40% buried. And so it looks like Rockwell said to follow. Also noting that they have the back of the house to play with. So, one thing that some teams can do is they kind of tap back the rocks in the house so that you kind of create a little pocket in the back of the house. It increases the scoring possibilities, but also that works both ways. So it can be a dangerous strategy. I don't know if they're going to create that pocket. This looks like it's going to be on the guard, though. But they can sweep it in the house, and that's what they do. That yellow rock is now about 80% exposed. And it looks like Burton is calling for like a hit and roll. for her second. Amy Thompson. We're seeing a lot of great comments in the chat, and I definitely appreciate everyone that's been talking with us today. It definitely helps liven the conversation, and I think it helps build a community for a lot of people that just like love curling and hopefully would like to see good games. So that shot from Thompson opened things up a bit. I think Rockwell wants Lillian McNella to draw into the house. It looks like it might be on the guard. It's actually around the guard. Maybe a little heavy. Jasmine trying to do the infamous sweep behind the stone to try and slow it down, which, as much as we'd like it to, it doesn't actually do anything. So the situation in the house right now is Rockwell is sitting first and third shot. Actually, they're sitting first and second shot. My apologies. While Burton is sitting third. So there's something cooking here for Team Rockwell here in the fifth end. Looks like they're drawing in. Weight's pretty good. It looks like it's going to be right on the schnoz. So that rot is pretty well covered. I think they would like to have a heavy draw, let's say. Make sure they get around the guard and make some contact on that yellow. So definitely around the guard. This is looking pretty good. Made some contact, tap that yellow back. So now Rockwell's sitting first, third, and fifth. And Burton's sitting second and fourth. Here comes the shot from Tatiana Keeling. Her bio notes that she is most likely to want to braid someone's hair. It crashes on the guard, rolls to the side. So in response to a comment in the chat, I am live from Oakland, calling the game and calling the shots, as it were. Not calling the shots, they're calling the shots. I'm changing the camera angles, as it were, live from the warm room here at San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. It'd be interesting to try and broadcast the game remotely, but I think being on site has been really good so far. Here comes the shot from third Shiloh Blacksher. I think they wanted to draw in either a tight guard or freeze. This looks to be maybe over curling a little bit? No. I just over curling a smidge. But only a smidge. So from this view, it looks like the shot rock is about about 2/3 open, but they're opting to just clear the guard. The second shot coming from Tatiana. Looks like they think it's a little bit wide. Looks like it's going to tick the guard, and the shooter rolls away from the house and out of play. So we're coming up to skip stones, and Nicole Rockwell is not wasting any time. Broom's on the ice, and she is heading to the hack. They are about 90 seconds behind the other team regarding time. I don't think they're in trouble yet. They have up to 3 ends of play left. I think they're pretty tight, but we'll see what happens here. I think they're going to do that tight guard shot again. It worked well for them last time. So Nicole started curling in 2018 after watching John Schuster lead Team USA to gold in the Olympics. Since then, she's been active in leads and bonspiels and skipped a women's team at the PIC Playdowns in 2020. And the PIC is a pretty prestigious event in Vancouver, British Columbia. It would be, I think a lot of the teams are honored to get the chance to go compete, and it sounds like it's just a wonderful tournament to be at as well. So that guard isn't guarding much, unfortunately, and so now Jane Burton is trying to tackle shot rock from the other side. Jane Burton's favorite animal is a polar bear. Here's the first of 2 skip stones from Jane Burton with a hammer here in the 5th end. Looks like the weight's pretty good. And just chips that shot out, and the shooter rolls to the 8 foot. And now, just like that, Burton is sitting 1 and 2 and 4. No, 1, 2, and 5, pardon me, while Rockwell is sitting the other 2 shots. They're sitting 3 and 4. So this end is kind of turned on its head, as it were. So for Rockwell, it looks like they're setting up for a draw. I think they want to get behind that high center guard or freeze to the one in the shot rock in the back. That's the call. So they want it to curl. It's in the wings. It needs to come back, or they can try and corner freeze it to the shot in the 8 foot. It's actually going to kind of be in this middle ground area. So right now, Burns sitting 1. They could try and chip out that blue and get 3, but it looks like they're taking the more the surer shot, the higher percentage shot, and just drawing for a second point, and that makes a lot of sense. Here's the final shot of end 5 coming from Jane Burton, the hammer. They definitely want to make sure it's in the 4 foot. They're sweeping it. It's slowing down a bit, but I think they have it. Indeed they do. That is a deuce. Put another 2 on the board for Team Burton as they take an 8-3 lead after 5 here at the 2023 men's and women's MoPac Club Playdowns. We'll be back in just a moment. And we are back to the 2023 MoPac Men's and Women's Club Playdowns, coming to you from the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. This is the second of 3 games today. Join us tonight at around 9-ish after we do the practice and draw shot challenge. At around 9 tonight, our feature game will feature women's A pool action between Team Camarena from San Francisco Bay Area taking on Team Feldman from Wine Country. It is a NorCal clash. We hope you'll join us at around 9 Pacific tonight on the MoPac YouTube channel. First shot of the end coming from Jasmine Hashi. So she started curling in 2014. She moved to Los Angeles, and since then she's pivoted to competitive curling and has competed in the 2019 Coyotes Superhero Under 5, the 2022 MoPac Women's Playdowns, and several other Bon Spiels. This is Kim Gaddy's second. Her favorite zoo animal is the otter. And you otter know. I wonder if her favorite musician is Alanis Morissette. We'll have to find out. One of the nice things about the draw schedule is that we have totally different lineups on our feature sheet through pool play. So we are going to see different teams for every draw. And I think really feature a lot of the breadth of teams in our region. We're not going to be able to show them all, unfortunately, but we're going to get to, I think, 18 out of the 26 teams. And then hopefully we'll see some of the other teams in the playoffs. So now Nicole Rockwell is looking to, I think, take some use of the corner guard. Although it looks like the other her teammates kind of talked her into putting up a corner on the other side of the sheet. Maybe. No, it looks like they're so they're going to kind of come down the center or put a rock on the center of the ice. Or they thought it was going to curl a lot. I'm kind of curious about what the goal for this shot was. So that shot is a tight guard. I think they may have wanted to try and get around that center guard. I think that may have been what the call was. Here's the first stone coming from Amy Thompson, the second for Team Burton. Team Burton has a mascot. That's, I think, kind of shows how serious a team is when you have a mascot. The mascot's name is Rocky. It was born in Arizona and has been hanging out with curlers for 4 years. It is an ambidextrous thrower. Rocky likes nuts, dislikes being left in the broom bag, and is most likely to give fist bumps before and after the game. Rocky's favorite zoo animal is squirrel. So it looks like Team Burton put another one in the house. And this is the first stone, I believe, coming from Lillian Mignella. The second for Team Rockwell. Looks like they're going to try and draw around again. This one looks like it's going a little deep, and it is actually going to go through the house. So a little bit of a miss, although there's a little bit of clutter in front of the house. There's only one rock in the house right now. Although it looks like Burton wants to, I think, put another one in, or guard. We'll see what happens. It looks like they tapped one of the guards into the house. Someone's asking for a scoreboard shot. I will do my best to get that to you at the next end break. Next start coming from Mignella. Sweepers are on it. Looks to be maybe a little on the light side again. And now they're off it. It's going to be a guard. So right now, Burton's sitting 2. Burton's sitting 2, 1 in the 8-foot, 1 in the back 12-foot. There's a lot of center coverage in front of the house. And it looks like Burton wants to draw around. This is going to be Tatiana Keeling's first. Her favorite zoo animal is, of course, the sea turtle. I'm kind of curious if they went to the zoo and actually like made a personal connection with their favorite zoo animals, or if this was just a poll, like a poll question that they just thought about briefly. I think it'd be fun if they did a zoo trip. So that puts up another guard. And that guard it's a mid guard, and really I think makes it hard for Rockwell to make a play on any of the shots really in the center. So it looks like Rockwell's thinking about blowing things up. For Shiloh Blatcher's first. Blatcher is a member of both Orange County and Hollywood curling clubs, has been curling for about 3.5 years. Let's see if they got it. An interesting hit. It kind of, in curling, you know, when you do doubles that are kind of really close to each other, trying to hit it like right in the middle, we call it like hitting it in the crotch. That was not quite the crotch. It was a little too wide. Um, but the Blackshear made contact with both stones, and the shot rock was able to roll in. So now Rockwell is sitting second stone. Not quite frozen on the shot stone. Someone called it the whittle freeze, and that sounds really good. I'll go with it. I might use it. I might steal that. And let's see what Tatiana has dialed up here. Looks like kind of a draw tap. So it looks like got some of the created some separation between the red and the yellow rocks that were already in the house. I think Rockwell wants to. I think maybe trying to draw in for Blackshear's second. Blackshear was also at the 5 and under nationals last year. Also competed at the MoPac 5 and unders last year. She's been at a lot of 5 and unders, which is good. It's cool. She was first at the Rising Stars 5 and under at Southern California Curling Center. Was also in a taco spiel. Second place finish there. So I think a lot of experience in just 3.5 years, which is really impressive. So that shot looks like it came up just a bit short. And so now Burton is in a situation where I think they could be trying to draw in, or yeah, I think they would be trying to draw in, just based on where they have the broom on the tee line. Looks like they took a little bit more ice. I think they're. I don't know if they're going to try and draw in because that port. I mean, I think there is a port there, but I don't think it's necessarily worth going after. I think they're more likely to put up a guard because they're sitting shot rock. Looking at the scoreboard, I think it's a safe call. That makes a decent amount of sense. This is Jane Burton's first here in the sixth end. Weight wise, I think it's a guard. And indeed, it is a guard. So, if there was a port, there's some shoals in the way, some rocks and shoals to prevent that a skipper to find any sort of safe refuge through that port. So now for Rockwell, they do have the hammer. And I think they're going to try and draw around. That this side is, there's almost more rocks on this side, but it's more open just because most of those rocks are down the center line. So it looks like it might be over, it looks to be a little light, and it wrecked on the guard.
Yeah.
So it looks like Burton is opting to prevent any sort of run back on the left side here. I would think they could possibly try and draw again on the right side from this view, but I think they're thinking that the run back is the easier shot for Rockwell to make, and they're taking that away with another guard. So this is Burton's last, without hammer here in the sixth end. Lots of rots in play. Definitely had the broom set up for a two guard. And it is going to be that two guard right on line with what they wanted. And so now, quickly, Nicole Rockwell's not wasting any time to get back down the ice to do her draw again. I think this time a little bit more ice and just a smidge more weight. They have about 9 minutes 40 seconds to finish two ends, so I think they're doing well on time. Because we want to have ideally kind of about 4.5 minutes. There's a hammer here for Team Rockwell. Last shot in the sixth end. Crashes on the guards. Just a misfortune for Rockwell as Burton steals one. Looking to see if they're going to stay with it. It's currently 9-3 in favor of Burton after six ends. We're going to do a quick check around the rings to see how the other games are going. So it looks like looking at the action here. On sheet one, a men's D pool game between Team Fleming and Coyotes and Team Lazarevich of Silicon Valley. It is 9-3. Lazarevich is got on the board with a deuce in the fourth end and a single in the fifth. Sheet three, a men's B pool game between Team Leclerc and of Coyotes and Team Pomeroy of the Utah Olympic Oval. It is still all Leclerc, 10-0 after five. Sheet four, women's B pool game. Team Wheeler. It's a tie game. So goodness, Aubrey of Coyotes jumped up to a 5-2 lead after two, and Team Wheeler from Silicon Valley has clawed their way back in, especially with a triple in the fifth end, all square at 6 after 5. And then on sheet 5, it's a final. Team Siggins of Coyotes, this is their first win of the tournament with a 12-4 victory over Team Hernandez from Hollywood. All those scores are on bondspieler.com. So feel free to check that out. Looks like we had some handshakes on sheet 3. And I'm just based on the score, it looks like Team Leclerc has picked up their first victory against Team Pomeroy from the Oval. So shifting back to our feature sheets. It appears to be game on as Kim Gaddy gets set to deliver her first stone. Actually, I say that, her second stone. So Rockwell put up a corner guard. Burton opted to draw in, again tempting the opposing team to follow them down, and Rockwell's not taking the bait. So it looks like Burton has asked Gaddy to put up another. Looks like they're going to draw in. Let's see here. Yes, and they did draw in to the top 12. That covers the shot stone by about 20%. And so it looks like Rockwell wants Jasmine to put up another corner guard, this time on the other side of the ice. Corner guards are tricky. And I say that as someone who plays on arena ice, so there's often only one path to the sheets. Oftentimes you can try and put up corner guards, but it's really hard to make sure that you use them effectively. And it'll be interesting to see how and if Rockwell is going to be able to use those corner guards with this end, especially now that Burton has two in the house. So it looks like Burton wants to put up another center stone. I think a guard would be fine, although if it comes in the house, that's not bad either. And that's coming from Amy Thompson. Oops. Looks like it did come in. Looks like they drew around that top center stone and are sitting top 4 foot. So now Burton's sitting 3, and Rockwell, I think, wants to start clearing the house, and I think hopefully start using this corner guard. So hopefully maybe able to hit and roll under the cover on the left side of the sheets. One coming from Lillian. Looks like it might be over curling a little bit, but it's going to make contact. It's going to roll, and unfortunately the shooter's going to roll out. So I would probably mark that as like a partial success. I think you wanted to stick the shooter, or keep the shooter in the house, but getting rid of one of the burnt stones definitely helps.
Let's go eat. That's a great idea.
Right now, both turn into one. So it looks like they were drawing into the house, a tight guard or in the full 12 foot, and it's going to sit on the line between the 8 and the 12 foot. So Rockwell is now looking to make a play on the shot stone in the 4 foot on the right side here.
Nothing else. Just the gold medal.
So it looks like it might be a little tight. It's over curling. Hopefully they can try and hold it, get some contact. And they did make contact, but not really enough. It just basically nudges the yellow over. And again, the shooter's lost. So I think Burton's just happy to keep sinking stones into the house along the center. And just really, really amping up the pressure for Rockwell to clean things up. And it's going to be tricky for Rockwell to clean things up and also keep rocks in play. This is Tatiana Healing's first. And again, just a nice draw down the center here. It looks like it's going to tap the yellow that was on the center line back. And so now they're sitting 4. And they're sitting 4. However, it looks like there's some potential double setup. So like Rockwell can start to clean up and keep the rocks around. So we'll see if they're going to be able to clean house.
Put me in, coach. Put me in. Standing there with my shoes. Come on. Like the time at the Golden Gate, or not the Golden Gate, but the wrench.
Where you just threw one out there?
When you guys are gonna troll me and say like, oh,
So this is Blackshear's first. It looks like it over curled on them. Okay. It got rid of one. They lost the shooter, unfortunately. So now Burton wants to put another one in the house. Same path. I mean, they've been on this path. I think I'm trying to think if they've been on any other path so far in this end. I think it's been pretty much the same line or close to it for 6 stones. This is Keeling's last here in the 7th. Gaddy jumped on it with Thompson then joining. And this is going to be look a little light. But it's enough to get into the house. So these rods are, I think, starting to carry a little bit. It's just a tough situation for Rockwell. And I do apologize for some of the noise here in the warm room. People are changing as they come off the ice. It's just kind of the nature of how we're doing this broadcast. But it's like, adds a certain sense of realism. It's like you're there. All right, let's see if Rockwell to clean house. They got 1, they got 2, and they lose the shooter. So got the double, changing things up a little bit. They were facing 4, and now it's down to 2, which helps a bit. And I'm interacting with people on the chat. Some people said, like, tell the guy he's really loud. And I do want to apologize just because I want to make sure we're doing the best to provide a quality broadcast. Although there's certain limitations, but I appreciate that you're kidding around with me, and and I enjoy kind of riffing with you guys as well, and also anyone else who might be listening or watching to this broadcast. So here we go. This is shot number 7, I think, down the same path. Again, just a nice draw. Looked like a really smooth release by Jane Burton. Looking ahead to the rest of their games, Team Burton. And I think we're definitely going to see Burton again in the playoffs. It'd be a huge upset if they weren't. It looks like their next game is going to be at noon tomorrow as they take on Team Feldman from Wine Country. And then looks like they conclude pool play against Team Camarena on Friday night. And then straight to the playoffs for them, I would assume, on Saturday evening. So this is this is a situation where I don't know if they're going to be able to get rid of more than 1 or 2 stones. They're having some fun here. So it looks like they wanted to make a play on the stone on the right side. I think hopefully maybe looking to roll and maybe chipping the shot rock out. Oh. I think it may have been burned. So just let's be unfortunate there.
Did you get a lot of snow up there? You got all snowed in?
Someone was joking there's no one watching. We have 45 people watching right now, so it's not no one. But we're definitely thankful for everyone who tuned in tonight, and we hope that you guys will tune in for the rest of the tournament. This is definitely a service that MoPac wanted to help grow the sport in our region and beyond, and we're thankful for people who are tuning in. And again, it's going to be a fun weekend, we hope. Thanks. So this is Jane Burton's last here without the hammer in the 7th. I think, again, drawing down that path. This is probably shot 8 for 8 down this path, or a very similar path this end. Just all draws. And a lot of times if you can go through an end and just draw, I think that's a really good And for a lot of teams, especially teams that may not be comfortable with up weight, and that's not to say that Team Burton can't throw up weight. It's just that a lot of people have good draws in their pocket, and this looks to be another good draw from Team Burton, as they are going to be just a little short as a guard, but that definitely blocks the draw path to the button. So it looks like Team Rockwell and Nicole want to try that same kind of hit and roll that they did last shots, and we'll see if they have it in their pocket. And the other one's holding a peace sign, kind of still riffing on Alanis Morissette as I did earlier in this game. Here it is, last shot, the hammer from Nicole Rockwell in the 7th. Just looks like they're cleaning. Looks like it might be on the yellow on the top. It is on the yellow on the top. So the shooter rolls out a play, and it looks to be a steal of 3 for Team Burton. And that is it. It is handshakes between Team Rockwell and Burton as Team Burton took an insurmountable 12-3 lead. So that concludes the game here. Looks like a hard-fought game between the two. Looking ahead to Rockwell's schedule, Team Rockwell is going to be back on the ice tomorrow at noon, taking on Team Camarena. And then they will face Team Feldman on Saturday morning at 8:30. So as this game wraps up, let's take another look around the rings. If sheet 1 is still in action, we could cut to them. Otherwise, we might wrap up things early ahead of our 9-ish broadcast tonight between Team Camarena and Feldman. So looking around the rings, it does look like sheet 1 is still in play as we take a look around the rings. So let's go to sheet 1 and see what's happening here. We'll get you up to speed on that game between Team Fleming and Lazarowicz. So someone asked her about sheet 4. Let me peek on that real quick. This looks to be the last shot coming for Lazarowicz here. It looks like a hard shot maybe for 2. Looks like they was not able to make anything. So it looks like this is actually a steal of 2 for Team Fleming. And this is the 7th end, and it is handshakes on sheet A. Team Fleming picks up their first win of the tournament as it's a 12-3 victory over Team Lazarowicz of Silicon Valley. So we'll see what happens to those teams. Team Fleming is going to be back on the ice tomorrow morning on the feature sheet as they take on Team Akiyama from San Francisco. Lazarowicz is going to be on sheet 4 tomorrow morning, taking on Team McBride. So let's go back to our Around the Rings coverage. And Around the Rings, sheet 4 is still in action. Looks to be in the 7th end. The 7th end here. Lots of rocks in play. Yellow is sitting 2, and that's the 2 they need to stay in this game. So right now, looking at the action, through 6 ends on sheet 4, it is 8-6 in favor of Team Wheeler over Team Aubrey. So this was a game that was tied after 5, and Wheeler then took the lead with a deuce, and Aubrey does have a chance to get I think 2 or 3. We'll see what happens. Yes, the Elfster Loto is a very interesting Loto. Let's see here. So it looks like Aubrey would have the hammer in this end. And it looks like this is the last red rock coming for Team Wheeler. Team Wheeler playing out of the Silicon Valley Curling Club. Looks like sheet 5 is done. Yeah, I did mention that earlier. It was Sigins over Hernandez, 12-4. This shot now coming for Wheeler. Looks pretty good. And it is enough for second shot. So that looked like a pretty nice gentle raise by Wheeler. So now it is Aubrey just sitting 1 in the 7th end here. Looks like all the other games are off the ice. Just to recap, again on sheet 1, Fleming did take down Lazarowicz. On sheet 2, our feature game, we saw Team Burton defeat Team Rockwell. The defending champions, again, proving why they are defending champions. And on sheet C, that was Team Leclerc from Coyotes taking down Team Pomeroy from the Utah Olympic Oval in a shutout, 10-0. Here is the last shot coming on sheet 4 for Team Aubrey. I think they're going to try and draw, just based on how it was set up. To get the 2 to tie things up. Looks like it's may have been a little wide, so it crashes on the guard, and it's just a point for Team Aubrey. So it's a 1-point game, 8-7, if I'm seeing the scores correctly. 8-7. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I could stick around with this last end to kind of call it from the overhead, if you guys would like. I'm here. I'm going to be here all weekend, so I would be happy to keep calling this game. Also, please come back tonight at 9, where we're going to feature another women's game between Team Camarena and Team Feldman. And just as a friendly reminder, this broadcast was presented by authority of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. We do allow some retransmission, like you can, different forms. Like if you wanted to do interpretive dance, you can retransmit this game as a version of interpretive dance. I would welcome it. I would love to see it. So just keep that in mind. MoPac's got your back. All right, here we are. This is the 8th and final end, going the distance here on sheet 4 with Team Wheeler throwing the first stone. Team Wheeler's lead is Nisa Kezwani, starting in 2022 and took part in her favorite Bonspiel, the 2022 Silicon Valley Bonspiel. This is Team Aubrey's first. The lead for Aubrey is Karen Cole. She and her husband took up curling in 2010, curled for 3 years, and then spent 5 years being dumb enough not to live near a curling club before joining Coyotes in 2018. So this shot here looks to be a nice draw in. They need to steal at least one to stay alive. Like a nice center rock. Some people are taking me up on the challenge to do interpretive dance remixes of this game. I would, again, love to see it. Some people said that they were team dancer at the Orange County Curling's reindeer games last month. So I think it'd be fun to have people do an interpretive dance. And also, I've suggested before during some competitions that if the game is tied after 8 or 10 ends, that the final end, instead of being a full end or a shootout, is just a dance-off. Just, have the top dancer from each team just do a brief dance-off to see who prevails in the game. And I think that'd be one way to end a game, and where even though one team loses, everyone's a winner because we got to see dancing. So it looks like Aubrey's second stone kind of ticks aside their guard. This is the second stone coming from Nisa, or Karen, pardon me. And this stone looks to be coming towards the right side of the house. More of a corner guard. But Team Wheeler should be Team Wheeler should be able to make some use of that later in the end. Second stone's coming now for Team Aubrey. This should be Tracy Drummond. Tracy says that she was dragged into curling by her husband in 2010 when the Coyotes Curling Club was playing at the Ice Den on arena ice. That's a long time ago. She's thankful she didn't freeze and is thankful that the members of the Coyotes were a warm and engaging group and she enjoyed the camaraderie. So, and as she put up a high center guard there. Just really quickly, we are we're gonna see Wheeler on the feature sheet coming up Saturday afternoon, and I don't think we're gonna see Aubrey on the sheet unless they make the playoffs. So, like I said, there's gonna be 8 teams that are not going to feature games, unfortunately, but I'm glad to feature coverage here when we can. And it looks like Wheeler is coming around, I think looking to perhaps raise the shot stone, and they do. That's a nice draw tap there. I'm quickly Googling Elfster to see what that is. That is a Secret Santa app. That's kind of cool. So we just celebrated Christmas, but if there's any need for any sort of Secret Santa type gift exchange, Elster might be the ones to turn to there. All right, this is the net stone coming for Team Aubrey. This should be Tracy Drummond again. Looks like an upweight shot. It's going to chip one up. I thought it was going to chip one out, but it jammed and just kind of rolled the red to the right side. So now Wheeler sitting 2. One is partially covered on the center line. And this, I believe, is the second shot for Wheeler's second, Sydney Jorgensen. Highlights for Sydney include being the lead on the winning team at the 2022 San Francisco Turkey Spiel. Was also at the Coyotes 5 and Under in 2022, a C event runner-up as a vice. And also took part in the Silicon Valley Intra-Club Playdown for the U.S. Women's Curling Association National Bonspiel, and was a winning team in second. And her shot draws around that center guard and sinks another stone into the top of the house. And now Wheeler is sitting 3. So Aubrey, just kind of based on where they have the room, I think they're either going to try and start cleaning up, or I think try and draw in. I think the way the room is positioned, it looks like they're doing some cleanup, and hopefully going to remove at least one of the stones. This, I believe, is going to be third Luba Brock's first stone. Luba Brock started curling in Canada, playing on her high school team, and then for the University of Western Ontario's women's team. And so this shot here, I mean, these center rocks in the house they were partially open, but they do wreck on the guard. So someone noted that you didn't need to peel the center guard, but they ended up peeling it anyway. There is a prominent curling podcast where one of the co-hosts, Mary from Two Girls in a Game, says, often you can't go wrong peeling a guard, and that's what they did. They're not a bad outcome. All right, this is, I believe, Luba's second rock here. And no, sorry, this is Wheeler. So this is going to be Jacqueline Pitlar's first. I apologize. So Jacqueline was at the 2022 Arena Nationals, fishing 4th as lead. It was also at the 2022 Coyotes 5 and Under, a C event runner-up at second. So it's great seeing a lot of new faces at these events. It's great to have people, getting tournament experience and then hoping to kind of see if they can take it to the next level by being at an event like these regional playdowns. This is Luba's second, I believe, and that just kind of raises the center stone further in the house. So now Wheeler is sitting 4, and Aubrey needs to steal like she's Carmen Sandiego here. I don't see the clock, so I don't know how they're doing on time, but they are playing fairly quickly. And I think this is Wheeler's. This is Jacqueline's second, and just puts up a center guard. Not too shabby. So now for Team Aubrey, they need to be sitting shot after these next 2 stones. They need to be, I think, also in a place where they can't be hit out easily. I think they're going to draw. I mean, obviously, the way it's set up, they're going to draw in and hopefully be behind cover sufficiently so they'd be sitting shot and not in a position to be removed very easily. Debbie Aubrey has been working as a systems engineer for a very long time and has not been curling long enough. She started curling in 2014 when Coyotes moved to their own facility, and she knows she's quite fortunate to practice on dedicated ice. This first stone for her is a little heavy and goes through the house. So that draw path is still there, as Zebu points out on the online chat. This is probably the most active chat I've had in any of the games I've broadcast so far in the past 2 years. And this has been wonderful, guys. I really appreciate it. We'll see how this game finishes, though, with Melissa Wheeler's first rock, I believe. Melissa Wheeler... Melissa Wheeler was also at the 2022 Arena Nationals, finishing 4th at skip. She was at the Silicon Valley Playdown for the USWCA National Bonspiel, was the winning team as skip. So definitely see some teammates that have been teammates for at least a little while. She started curling in 2015, and her favorite bonspiel was the 2019 Donna Perkey Classic at Coyotes. Definitely Coyotes knows how to put on a bonspiel, and it seems like San Francisco does too. We'll see how this weekend goes. This draw, weight looks pretty good, although it might give an opportunity for Aubrey just based on where it came to rest, because now Aubrey could hit and roll under the cover, and provided that they stick around, they are going to be very hard to remove and be able to get that steal of 1 to force the extra end. So this is Aubrey's last here. When not curling, you'll see Debbie training with AZ Aardvark, her 4-way indoor skydiving team, playing pickleball with Coyotes curlers and hanging with her husband and parrots, who some of you have met. So let's see if the shot is going to be on the money here. Looks like it's not going to make contact on the red, but the draw is there. It's around all the guards. It's going to be enough to be top 4 foot. So a pretty nice shot by Debbie Aubrey here on sheet 4 here. We'll see what the shot is. Someone online is suggesting a straight draw. Curious how they get to that stone, though. Just based on how the rocks are staggered through the house, I don't know if there's not any sort of raise, I believe. Okay, there's a dangerous raise. Like a red raise on those 2 reds. One that's on the top, like just over the 4 foot, and the one that's straddling the 8 and the 12 foot. If they do like a tap, they could, raise the red sufficiently to the button without having to, wreck on the yellow. However, as Zebu points out, they are just doing the straight draw. I wonder if that's enough ice. unless they're trying to go through. I don't know if the shot's there, because I feel like if they wreck on the yellow, I don't know if I don't know if they're gonna move the yellow enough to out count it. Looks like there was a decent amount of pace on the release, on the delivery. Pardon me. We'll have to see if it's there. So it is a steal of one. Looks like they wrecked on the guards. And so what was shaping up to be a really great end for Wheeler turned into a steal of one for Aubrey. We're all square through 8, and we are headed to extra ends. Since we're here, might as well stay with it. We'll be back in just a moment as we continue here from the 2023 Men's and Women's MoPac Club Playdowns. Okay, we are back here with an extra end between Team Wheeler from Silicon Valley and Team Aubrey from Coyotes. Coyotes stole the final point to tie things up at 8, I believe. And we are... We're doing kind of the overhead cameras on the sheets, just to kind of mix things up a little bit. So, waiting to see where this rock is coming. Looks like it's just a high guard. People don't seem to want to come into the house at all here. Teams do get extra time, and it does look like that they're just trying to draw around and put up another guard. So it looks like they wanted another medium guard here. It's trailing around the high guard and is very much a medium guard. So it was what the skip dialed up, Debbie Aubrey. So net shot coming from Nissa Kishwani, pardon me. So another guard, and now it looks like Aubrey wants to come into the house. Since this is, I think, the fifth rock down a very similar path, you would hope they have the line dialed in, if not the weight. And this is the first rock coming from Tracy Drummond. So it looks like this the line was pretty good. Oh, look how it curls, man. That's awesome. Someone in the chat did know that the ice may be slower because this is the only game on the ice remaining. That's a fair point. Ice does tend to kind of frost up as teams leave the ice. There's just the body heat in a building raises the temperature just ever so slightly, and when the bodies leave it, the temperature drops and it frosts things up. That's a fair point. So the next rock for Team Wheeler, I believe this is Sydney Jordansen's shots. And looks like the weight is perhaps a little on the light side, but they're going at it. It crashes on the shot rock, but it spins into the house. Now it's sitting shot. However, it is pretty exposed, and Team Aubrey is wasting no time to go after it. I believe this is the second shot for Drummond. And so they wanted to do the hit. Let's see if it's there. Line's pretty good, especially based on how it finishes. Chips that red out, and the yellow is going to spin out of the house onto the right side there. So just rid of the shot rock, and now I think Wheeler is going to try to draw again with a little bit more ice. And this is Jordansen's last. So let's see, they dialed up a draw. So it looks a little wide, but seeing how it finishes, it looks like it's going to finish pretty well. Just a smidge on the little heavy side, but it is behind the center guard. Looks like maybe just a little bit of it's covered, a little bit of it's open. And Wheeler wants to just chip it out again. Sorry, Aubrey wants to chip it out. This is Luba Brock's first rock here. So look, I mean, if they do succeed in getting rid of the Wheeler stone and sticking around, Aubrey is going to be sitting 2, and it kind of changes the dynamic at the end here. That looks to be like a hack weight. It looks, it's overcurling slightly, but maybe it didn't overcurl at all. I think that they got a hit and roll. That's what they wanted. So I would give them full marks for that. And so now Aubrey is sitting at 2. Wheeler is now in a draw game, really just trying to get to that button and holding on, I believe. So based on the way they have the ice set up, I think they're going to end up on the left side or the right side of the house, which would be the bottom of the screen. Let's see here. 1 second. So the draw looks like it's going to curl probably another 2 feet, maybe. Yeah, I think it was just a little too much ice, because now that red rock is pretty exposed, and Aubrey could make a play for it, but it looks like they're opting not to, just opting to start closing off that draw path to the button, which I think is a smart call on the part of Team Aubrey. This should be Luba Brock's last stone of the end of the extra and of the game. It does not seem like there's going to be an extra end tonight. But based on the ice based on the broom that Aubrey put down, I think it's going to kind of end up along the center line. So we'll see how it goes. I think they may have wanted a little bit more ice, although it might depend on the rotation that they did. But I think this is going to end up closer to the center line. So Team Aubrey is sitting first and second. However, Team Wheeler could chip out that yellow shot rock in the 4-foot and be sitting close to shot just with a nose hit. I think they're opting to follow them down on a very similar path, maybe just a little bit more ice than Aubrey had. So we'll see how this turns out. They're definitely going for a draw and not a hit. And I guess the hit wouldn't be there because there's a high center guard. So this is going to be the last stone for Jacqueline Peitlars. And this is a wide and heavy, unfortunately. So unfortunately, that was a miss. So for having to steal an extra end, Team Aubrey is holding a decent amount of the cards right now. I think just trying to draw in, even a high guard would be fine. They're giving like a little. She has a little bit more ice than the last shot, so it's probably going to be maybe a foot or about a foot and a half off the center line, whereas the last shot was very, very close to the center line. So here is Debbie Aubrey's first of 2 stones without the hammer here in the extra end on sheet 4. So they did want a guard, or I mean they wanted. It looks like they want it in the house, but they definitely don't want this thing to be a shot rock. Looks like it's over curling. Just look at it go. It's just swinging like crazy. But it's enough to sit second shot, and now Team Aubrey is sitting 3 here without the hammer, and Wheeler. Wheeler is facing a conundrum. I do believe teams have an extra timeout here in the extra end because, people don't bank timeouts to go into the extra end. And I would maybe want to. They are calling the timeout. I would definitely want to think about this because it is it's a tricky situation. Just based on how swingy the ice is. I think it's possible they could get around that shot stone and come to the back 4, or maybe get a piece of the button perhaps. But you have to have the weight totally dialed in to pull that shot off. They could also maybe slash out the shot rock. Throw a heavy. Like a heavy board type shots and kind of chip that out. Someone's suggesting the outturn draw on the right side. That's a great point. No one has been on the top side of the sheet this end, but it looks like the path would be there depending on how the rocks are curling. I haven't seen how the rocks move, so we'll see how it goes. But that's a very great point by Ziru on our chat, is that sometimes you got to look at the full house and think about what the best shot is. They're kind of looking at the chipping out shot rock, which would possibly give them a chance. The other thing is that they only need to score one. So one possibility is that maybe they're playing this side of the sheet and just kind of keeping in their back pocket that draw on the top side, the relative left side for the last rock, because one of the curling adages is to always leave a draw to the button for your last shot. So, with all the attention focused on the right side of the sheet, maybe they're happy to keep it focused there, and then maybe save that draw to the button for the last on the left side. But that's a great point, Zebu, in our chat. Just a reminder, this is bonus coverage of our 5 p.m. draw. We will be back in about an hour to bring you the second women's draw between Team Camarena from San Francisco and Team Feldman from Wine Country, pardon me. We're going to have more action tonight and throughout the rest of the weekend here at San Francisco Bay Area Curling, and we definitely hope you'll join us. So it looks like they have dialed up the shot. I do think it's going to be about a board weight shot. Or maybe a heavy draw. It's hard. We'll have to see how it goes. But I think they want to move Shot Rock out of the way and give them a shot on their last. This is Wheeler's first here. First of two. Crashed on the guard, and not a good crash because it kicks that red guard into the potential draw path for the draw to the button on the left side. So definitely a miss, unfortunately, by Wheeler. And now Aubrey wants to, I think, just kind of guard and kind of close up shop on that right side of the sheets. So we'll see what they have in place. And I think they're giving enough ice to kind of keep it closer on the right side. So this is Aubrey's last here in the extra ends, sitting 3. So they were going for, I believe, a guard. It's going to go into the house. And it looks like it might. Okay, it didn't curl enough. Okay, so they're not doing the draw. They looks like they want to. They want to make a play on that shot rock and hopefully stick around for the win. Here we go. This is Team Wheeler's last. This is for the win here. Scoopers on it. It's trying to crash on the guard. So Team Aubrey, they were in control for much of the game. Team Wheeler managed an epic comeback to tie things up and take a lead by 2. And then in the last 3 ends, it's been Team Aubrey to steal in the 8th end to tie it, and then a steal of 3 to claim the victory. So that will conclude coverage from this second draw here. Thank you so much for tuning in. We again will be back in about an hour to bring you our nightcap game between Team Camarena and Team Feldman. We do hope that you'll join us then. So for all of us here at MoPac and the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club, this has been your host Ryan saying so long